Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And no, I am not dreaming. You are not dreaming. We are not dreaming. This is really happening. We're getting a House of X Powers of 10 update. Now, yesterday in the first sneak peek video, I showed you guys the deleted tweet that referenced a sinister villain, which we all assume to be Mr. Sinister, Nathaniel Essex. However, there was another leaked sneak peek that I didn't cover, just out of respect for Netmarble and Marvel Future Fight and the guy who does the sneak peeks, because he's a great person. But now we see this sneak peek. Now, I have to say, I don't think my boy, he's my boy, but I don't, this is kind of weak. I'm not going to lie. Someone called this a cosmic toilet. This sneak peek looked like it was cobbled together by the B team, the B squad. So I'm not really sure what's going on here. But yeah, this literally looks like a cosmic toilet. Anyways, this leader of the futuristic Sentinels, this is the second sneak peek, has dark plans for all mutants in the V59 update. So then you have to do this whole thing again. If we go over to the forums, there's a little bit more involved, and I actually prefer the post up on the forums. This is CM Fragment here with an investigation update. The case is progressing quicker than I expected. I was able to successfully meet with mutants and learn about the motivation behind their sudden movements, Krakoa, etc. The mutants have increased activity in preparation against a looming threat that aims to rid the world of mutants. We all know the Sentinel program robots. They're trying to get rid of, Bolivar Trask. They want to just eliminate all mutants. We have decided to collaborate with the mutants in order to face this threat as a combined force. So they're teaming up, of course, because Jean Grey, Magneto, Wolverine. Well, Magneto's not a hero, but Wolverine, Jean Grey, they're heroes. I wonder if they're going to turn Magneto into a hero. Actually. Yeah, Magneto's not really a villain in House of X. True. Or maybe he is a villain. Does that mean Professor X will be a villain? Damn. I didn't think of that at all. Okay, we might be getting a white uniform Magneto who's actually a hero. That blows my mind. Okay. I didn't even plan to talk about that in the video. Please keep an eye out as we will be releasing any information the mutants have gathered so far that our agents can prepare. So then we have who is threatening the mutants. So the giant cosmic toilet is threatening the mutants. We have to flush the giant cosmic toilet in order to save the mutants. But we have to make sure that it flushes clockwise and not counterclockwise, because then it means we're trapped in the upside down from Stranger Things. An ominous throne stands alone in the throne room. Sure. Can you use this clue to figure out who is behind the plot to destroy the mutants? And then, again, the link. So here's the interesting thing. When you copy the link and you type in Nimrod, you get the following image. And it's cut off here, but whatever. You get Nimrod. So this was the leaked sneak peek that people discovered yesterday that I didn't want to spoil. Now, I will say that the artwork is looking kind of weird. This is looking kind of cel-shaded. It's looking kind of dusty. This is not the level of quality that we're used to with Marvel Future Fight animations and Marvel Future Fight character models. So I'm going to put this one side by side here with Sentinel so you guys can see it's kind of night and day here. Sentinel looks absolutely delicious. He's just like shiny, metal, solid, so cool. He's got the pipes, all the cables, the cords. He's looking like, Detail City. You can't really see his head there, so it's kind of cut off. Anyways, this is Sentinel, all right? And let me go back to whatever this is. So hopefully this is not what the actual model looks like, but we'll get into that in a little bit later. However, here's the thing that has some people confused. If instead of typing Nimrod, and we'll talk about who Nimrod is, but instead of typing Nimrod, if you go ahead and copy that and you type in Sentinel, you actually get the same sneak peek. So here is where people are confused, and a lot of people are considering that this could be a uniform for Sentinel rather than a brand new character. I can't really say either way. I don't know, but I will say this. As far as who Sentinel is, Nimrod. And so the sneak peek is Nimrod. The sneak peek's not for Sentinel. We got Sentinel back in 2018 with the Gambit Nightcrawler update and the original Giant Boss Raid update. So we could be seeing, if we're seeing Nimrod, we could be seeing an update to Giant Boss Raid with an additional day where we get the Mother Mold and where we get, or maybe this is Master Mold. Oh yeah, that is Master Mold. So maybe we will see Nimrod go, in some sort of Giant Boss Raid. Not Mother Mold. That's Bastion. That's something else. Anyways, So we might be seeing an upgrade or a new day for Giant Boss Raid, but I really don't think that Nimrod is going to be a uniform for Sentinel. It's definitely a possibility, and on the one hand, giving Sentinel a uniform is cool and is good because it will make Sentinel stronger, and I really like Sentinel. Sentinel's just a little bit too weak. Sentinel kind of just needs like a Sentinel uniform, but he has really cool passives. His tech upgrade passive is amazing, and more than that, the mutant suppressor passive, so good. So many good passives, so many good activations, 25% chance when hit, 70% chance to become immune to the greatest element damage received. So he's got this sort of adaptive system embedded in him. So very, very cool, very thematic, and Sentinel is almost strong enough to take down mutants in Marvel Future Fight in one-on-one action PvP style, but he's just not quite there. So a uniform would probably push Sentinel over the edge and give him the punch he needs to take down the mutants. And I actually love Sentinel. I don't play with him enough, but he's one of the most well-designed characters in the game. He summons multiple copies of himself. They copy his moves, like literally in real time when you press the skills. Like you really listen. I know it's a paywall character, but we really have to appreciate that more than any other game. Like, you are not going to find a game where Sentinel feels more like actual Sentinel than this game. Look at this. So whatever, the yellow ball is kind of weird, but then you have these Sentinels here, and if you don't do anything, they start attacking. But then you're like, okay, let's do the fourth skill. They copy you. You're like, okay, let's do the first skill. They copy you. Let's jump together. They jump with you. My God, they jump with you. How fucking cool is that? It's amazing. It's insane. I love Sentinel. So yes, on the one hand, I would love Sentinel to get a uniform, but I really don't think that Nimrod is going to be a uniform for Sentinel. Now, there are pros and cons to this. So I've already talked about the pros for Nimrod being a uniform because it will make Sentinel stronger and it will build on a character that I already really love. That's all well and good. Additionally, if Nimrod is a uniform, it means there's a better chance that we get even more characters. Because, we're usually expecting now 3 characters per update. And so if Nimrod's a character, it means we're getting Nimrod, hopefully Professor X, and then we only get 1 more character. So it'll be Nimrod, Professor X, and, Mr. Sinister. That's a heavyweight champion class. But then rip all the Mystique fans, rip, all the other mutants that we could have possibly gotten from House of X Powers of 10. It's possible that there's more than 4 characters in this update. I don't know, but I'm just speculating. But those are the pros to having a Nimrod uniform. However, here are the cons for a Nimrod uniform. First of all, it doesn't make sense. Nimrod is a descendant of Sentinel. Nimrod is kind of like the next evolutionary step of the Sentinels. When the Sentinels were not enough, the Sentinels created Nimrod. And Nimrod was enough. Nimrod is basically an unkillable machine that will adapt to any mutant he faces. Nimrod can manipulate the way he looks so that he appears human. Nimrod is just like the end of days. Literally, it's when Nimrod's on the scene, it's over. Nimrod can tackle like any mutant basically in a fight, and they're in huge trouble. Honestly, Nimrod could even fight one-on-one most characters in the Marvel universe and actually come out on top, or at least fight them to a standstill. So Nimrod is crazy strong, but Nimrod is not a Sentinel. Nimrod is different than Sentinel. Nimrod has powers that the Sentinels don't have. And so that really is the biggest thing for me why it just does not make sense at all to make this a uniform for Sentinel. It could be a uniform for Sentinel, but it just doesn't make sense to me because the character is so powerful. And secondly, I think it's a nice opportunity. Some people might not agree with me, but I think it would be a nice opportunity if we were to get Nimrod as a separate character to get another universal type, because Nimrod will definitely be a universal a la Sentinel, and also to get another villain, maybe possibly get another tier 3. We are also kind of due for a native tier 2 character. I mean, the last time we got a native tier 2 character was about 6 or 8 months ago with Silver Surfer, so we're kind of due for another one, more or less. If we don't get one soon, I don't know when we're gonna get one. So there are actually a lot of pros and cons for Nimrod to be a uniform or to be a standalone character. But either way, I'm excited. I don't really know what else we could expect other than a uniform or a character. Of course, if it's a character, it could definitely come a la Silver Surfer with the giant boss raid upgrade. Like, you know, you beat Nimrod and then you unlock his biometrics to get him at 1 star, and then you build him up like Silver Surfer. But if it's a uniform, then yeah, I guess it'll force more people to buy Sentinel as a character in order to get that uniform, because Nimrod is quite popular despite being, I would say, a little bit less well known. And if you're not a X-Men fan, you probably don't know Nimrod, because Nimrod doesn't really show up outside of X-Men comics. And even in the latest House of X run, or the original run, he doesn't show up that often either. He's only in a few issues. He doesn't even really fight much, so you don't get to see the full extent of his fury and his just absolutely dominating force. Like, the crazy thing about like, Sentinels are cool. Sentinels are strong and all that. Sentinels are great, but Nimrod is like the ultimate counter to every mutant, because a really easy example that I got from Comics Explained is essentially like this. Cyclops has concussive beams. That's what he shoots out. So Cyclops shoots those concussive beams at Nimrod. Nimrod takes some damage. Nimrod calculates that the beams are concussive. Nimrod instantly, or like right after, changes the density of himself, because he can change himself on a molecular level. He can revive. Obviously, well, not obviously, but additionally, if Nimrod's a character or uniform, they should have revive, because Nimrod keeps coming back. He can, rebuild himself from nothing. So Cyclops hits Nimrod with 1 blast. Nimrod's like, okay, those are concussive blasts. Changes his body to be, completely resistant to concussive blasts. Cyclops blasts him again, 0 damage. Nimrod goes in, completely dismantles Cyclops, kills him. Another example, again from Comics Explained, this one's a little bit more savage. Thor. Apparently, according to comic lore, Thor's hammer Mjolnir is not quite as strong as adamantium. So Nimrod will, make his armor, or make his arm made of adamantium, strip Thor of his hammer, or crush the hammer or whatever, or dent the hammer, and then, augment his strength to take down Thor in a one-on-one fight without the hammer. Because Thor's strong, but Thor is, another beast altogether when he's got the hammer, and he's obviously a little bit weaker without Mjolnir. So it's really hard to obviously expect Netmarble to accurately portray these characters' power levels via the comics. I think they did a wonderful job with Sentinel. He could have been tweaked a little bit stronger when he first came out. Even when he first came out, he wasn't that dominant. And then when we found out that 1 HP trick with Colossus, they nerfed it and they ruined it. But they have a good opportunity here with Nimrod to give us another counter. If they gave us a Nimrod as a character, and maybe they gave Sentinel a uniform down the road, or they tweaked him a little bit in this update just because it's an update that revolves closely around the Sentinels, we could have 2 upgrades and 2 potential characters to take down mutants, which I think would be really nice. The last pro, actually, now that I think about it, the last pro for having Nimrod as a character is if he's not going to be premium, if you're going to farm him via, even if he's native tier 2, he's expensive, he would be more free-to-play friendly than Sentinel. So, personally, as you can tell, I am in the camp of give me Nimrod as a playable character. But with that being said, let me know what you think of the second sneak peek. Are we going to be seeing Professor X as a playable character? Are we going to be seeing Mr. Sinister as a playable character? And then, more pertinent to this video, do you think that Nimrod is going to be a uniform for Sentinel, or do you think it is going to be a playable character? And which one of the 2 would you prefer? Hit me up in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.